Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Behind the Glass Doors. It's been a little while we've been off the saddle, but here we are, back again. Sorry, I know you've all missed us. Today we are going to chat about this, not really a new thing, but a thing called programmatic advertising. Programmatic advertising is something that we as an agency sell and have started to sell. And a client asked me last week when I was talking about programmatic advertising, what is programmatic advertising?
Sure.
So, Ollie, I'm going to throw over to you to give us a bit of an intro of programmatic.
I think in general terms, programmatic simply means right ad, right time.
Right.
Yeah.
The exciting proposition, I think, with programmatic versus traditional advertising, i.e. just calling up your local radio station or TV network and buying ads directly through there, is that we as an agency, and technically I guess a sophisticated advertiser, can do it themselves via a DSP, demand side platform.
Right.
So there's many of these around, and some of them have first party data, some of them have second party data, or they can buy data, I guess, from data warehouses. And the cool thing about it, I guess, is that you can advertise across many channels at the same time from the same platform. So, for example, if you're a builder and you're trying to capture people which are in that sort of research phase, they're considering building a new home, be it their second or their first, you can talk to them on several mediums at the same time through the same platform. And of course, there's sharing of data between those. Whereas normally if you called up and you bought an ad on Nova or an ad on Channel 9, they're not obviously sharing data between them, right? You try to sort of pick your times and pick your slots and, you sort of place your bets.
Yeah, you go to a wider audience, right? In that
correct. Yeah, correct. And that there's a lot of wastage, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, both those networks have massive audiences, but they may not be the right audience for that advertiser at that time. So the cool thing you can do is obviously, do an audience prediction. Builders is probably a good one if we looked at the first home builders niche, because I was just looking at it on Friday. There's about 330,000 people which are in market at the moment for a first home.
Right.
Now, they might be looking at the key start level, they might be sophisticated first home buyers, but in general, 330,000 in WA. And we can then obviously place an ad which is a catch-up or viewing on demand, so a TV ad. And one of the benefits of placing a TV ad on a programmatic platform is that you don't have to go through CAD approval because it's not linear TV.
Oh, yeah, great.
CAD approval costs money, takes time, and often will get pushback depending on the content of the ad.
3 days in process, and you have to make sure that everything is perfect, or then it comes through as rejected, and then you have to start doing 3D.
How demoralising. Rejected.
Very tricky.
Yeah. I mean, you still have to have quality ads, and you still have to have ads which don't make, outlandish claims. However, it's not as stringent as normal TV.
Yeah.
It's not governed by an overarching body.
Right.
You can then also place in your audio ads, so that's people that are listening to streaming, podcasts, etc. And as I was trying to explain to this advertiser on Friday, is, instead, we don't really mind what somebody's listening to. They could be listening to the news back home in America because they're interested in Boston, and they don't actually listen to local news here in Perth because the Perth news here is pretty basic. It's, cats getting stuck up trees.
Yeah. Which is an important topic.
No, it is, and we'll cover that.
And also banner adverts, which can be contextually served, i.e. they might be on a website which is talking about how the first home owners grant works, or other options, or lenders mortgage insurance, i.e. they're doing research.
Yeah.
And then alongside that content, because it is mentioning the words first home, a banner advert can be served in situ with that content. Yeah, correct. So it's pretty exciting, the fact that you could be across Foxtel, KO, 9 Now, 10 Play, 7 Plus.
There's hundreds of different platforms.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're the major Australian ones.
Yeah.
There's not a huge amount of them, but I guess I look at it and say, well, does it matter what they're watching? If they're watching Love Island, or if they're watching, Escape to the Country.
You love Love Island.
I do. But I think the cool thing about it is like blanket awareness. And I think when you have blanket awareness, you have the ability to not only plant seeds, no matter what the content is that we were just saying, no matter what the content is they're watching, you're planting seeds in every possible pocket of entertainment that they can have. Audio stuff now, I think, is really strong because especially when people are listening in their car, you know, when you hear an ad that comes up that has a message or hits something that has a good like follow through, you're going to remember that so much more than if you saw it just kind of only as visual without any kind of audio stimuli that kind of ties back to it. So I think those are great ways.
And you can still marry those different like audio and display. You can still, they can still be part of the same ad set, if you were.
Well, you have the ability now, and from what we've been kind of talking about, you have artwork that relates back to that audio. So now what you're doing is you're creating artwork that creates the visual side of it, the audio side, which is the leave behind, but now you're mirroring or marrying those two together. So now every time that you see that, you hear that ad and you see that artwork, that's going to create these two prongs of recognizable branding.
Absolutely. Well, it's consistent. And I think,
which is awesome. Yeah.
You know, what programmatic is, clearly it's not bottom of funnel. It's middle of funnel. And it's, you know, they're in market. I guess some other things you can do is you can segment your demographics down to age, income, gender, obviously physical location. So, you know, if you're a builder and builds in Perth, well, clearly you only want Perth Metro, you don't want WA. And I just feel that from a targeting point of view, incredibly powerful, because if you overlay some of these other things, you can also do that. There's also the ability to add in digital out of home, which are obviously your digital billboards. JCD or JC Deco obviously has the largest digital billboard network in the country. And of course, there's a couple there on the freeway. Those generally are reasonably expensive because obviously they cost a lot to get up, and they rent obviously the land where they are on the freeway. But, you know, you think about it, if you go, well, you know, we can work out that a lot of potential first home buyers are driving from the northern suburbs down the freeway and they're seeing that JC Deco billboard and they happen to be going past it at about 7:42 in the morning. Well, what do you think we can do? We can put a digital message on that billboard at that time.
And then when someone else is going by at 8:30 in the morning, they're totally different demographic. They might see a different advert that someone's put.
Correct.
Well, again, it's all about first of mind. Like if you have your brand in all these different places, they're always going to be thinking about that brand every time that comes across there.
It's trust. It's credibility.
Well, that's it too.
You know, it means, I think, you know, when they're out shopping for that product or service, you're going to be first in, best dressed. And you know, you are going to be probably the first builder that they're going to approach, because WA has a lot of immigrants. You know, they don't know who to go to. You know, and they're just looking for a trustworthy, credible builder. You know. And they really just want a hand. So, it's a very good niche too.
And what are some of the different channels then? So display, you've spoken about out of home, then digital. What are some of the other platforms that you can?
Audio and connected TV and native video. So native video obviously on websites. You might be going to watch, you know, the latest news on Perth Now, the West Australian, Morning Heralds, the one in Melbourne, we've got the Morning Age. And video goes to play, which is obviously the TV presenter reading, you know, something about a car crash or whatever.
Or a cat up a tree.
Yes. And there'll be a 15-second or a 30-second pre-roll ad. Often you tend to see, you know, your super cheaps and your Bunnings, etc., because they are obviously bidding quite high from a CPM, cost per thousand point of view. But there's nothing to stop any advertiser from having a crack. And seeing the level of demand in these programmatic platforms, you can tell that the market's very good.
So then would I be right, if your standard Google AdWords campaign, like very high cost per click, let's say it's like $40 cost per click in some industries, does that make programmatic become a little bit more?
100%.
Yeah, so that's a good...
That's a great example. I mean, car loans, home loans, solicitors, you know, anything where the CPC is getting in the sort of $30, $40, $50 range. Well, for the equivalent amount of money of one click, you can reach an audience of 1,000 people, right? So, car loans is a very good example of that. It is trying to, you know, if you go out with a decent offer, and it still has to have something which catches the eye, and you still need good creative. And that's, I guess, where a creative agency like us comes in, is that there's no point in spending money on these channels unless you've got decent ads, right? Ads which resonate with your target market, inform, entertain, and get them to take action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, they've got to land on a website or a landing page, which is going to convert them from just a browser or a clicker
Right.
into a conversion.
Yeah.
There's no point in probably sending them to your homepage where
No.
they've got to figure stuff out, because there's a pretty good chance they'll have a quick look for 15 seconds and
See you later.
You want it more campaign driven because you want that campaign to kind of be consistent across. So
Yeah.
take them to a landing page that ties back to the audio advertising with the radio spot and then the TV spot.
Yeah.
Put it all together. And then when they come there, it's like this streamline.
Yeah. Yeah.
the cool thing is that you can see that data. You know,
Well, that was my other question is the
you know,
data.
the only one you can't see data on is a digital billboard, right?
Right.
But we can obviously, say it was on for this amount of time and, the traffic was at peak this time. But with all the other digital stuff, we can tell how many people listened, how many people clicked.
Yeah.
Same with the video, same with, all those other things.
Yeah.
Whereas traditionally you can't do that with radio and TV.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a black hole. It's a bit of a, set, pray, hope, hope it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I personally have spent, tens of thousands. Once for Channel 7, I spent about 40 grand in a month on some TV advertising. We had bugger all uptick.
Yeah.
And I even questioned if the ads ever played on Channel 7 because I
Yeah,
couldn't,
sure.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
You get a post-campaign report and they say, yeah, you're on at this time. And I'm going, well, hang on a second. Why didn't I get any
Yeah.
inquiries?
Yeah.
So,
But you can wrap a strategy around that, which is really smart too, because the more data that starts coming through, based on the different types of places that you have that content, you can start to rejig that content to base off of that.
and
trend.
turn up channels which, appear to be
Right.
working better.
That's smart. That's a smart
You've
way to
literally
do it.
got, the tabs.
The thing I love about it, and we did a bit of training last week, where the actual platform that we have access to as an agency, you can pull the numbers and almost forecast
Yep.
how many impressions you're going to get,
right.
how many times you're going to want people to see the ad. It's
Unique ring,
bloody
reach,
good.
Yeah.
how many times people are going to
And
see
you,
it.
just from we want to target this kind of market, and it works all out for you to a degree, right? You have to input the data, but it's
And you have you just have more of a control panel in front of you.
Yeah.
You move things, like you said, you do TV or even radio, and sometimes you're like, is it even working? Like,
black hole.
what is happening?
it was brilliant. You were the other day. You were playing around for one of your other businesses, and you were having such a great time when they kind of changed all the different demographics.
Yeah, that would be
goes to it.
Yeah.
It was like hitting the switch. This is great. I've got this there.
Well, look, just for shits and giggles, I turned on New South Wales, right? And again, that's the thing, I can turn New South Wales on, see if we get leads. If we do, we do. If we don't, I just turn it off,
Yeah,
right? I'm not contracted.
Play around.
I can literally turn it off within microseconds.
Yeah.
No harm done.
Yeah.
And we're digital as well, so it is something where you could turn over East on and say, hey, we're a digital agency, we offer this, we offer that, but it's not relegated to just Perth.
Yeah.
We could go,
Wherever.
Well, in Southeast Asia, it's
sure. We're creating items that can be just back and forth. It doesn't have to be kind of a physical location when you're meeting with the client or
Yeah.
something like that. So
So in summary, and I guess we'll wrap it up. It's about getting your advertising message in the right place, or the right message in the right place at the right time to the right audience.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So,
Yep.
in terms, yeah. So
it's really good.
if anyone wants to chat about Programmatic, feel free to reach out to us or your agency if you've got someone else you're using. But we would love to hear from you if you do want to chat with PWD. Chris, Ollie, thanks for your time, fellas, and we'll do it all again next week. Cheers, guys.